A new survey about genetic screening of embryos at fertility clinics is confirming the fears of many ethicists that Americans are increasingly seeking so-called designer babies. A Johns Hopkins University study found that parents selected the sex of their embryos without any medical justification in about 9% of the screenings last year. Anita Allen is a law professor at the University of Pennsylvania, as well as the author of The New Ethics, and Dr. Jeffrey Steinberg is the medical director of the Gender Selection Program at the Fertility Institute. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks.
Doctor, I will begin with you, sir. Several countries ban the practice of gender selection without a medical reason, but in an article about this procedure, you said, sir, that you, quote, perform a much desired service. We're making people happy. Do you think that's a good enough reason to play God?
Well, it depends on whether or not you consider we're really playing God. You know, the reason we go into medicine is to help people. And in the process of helping people, for example, with orthopedic problems, does making those bones better have the physician play God? We don't think that we're playing God. We're observing what nature does and intervening and assisting people, again, in making them happy.
Okay. What about you, Anita? Do you think it's a parent's right to choose their baby gender, if science does allow for it?
I think that parents have a right to choose whether or not to become pregnant, but I don't think they necessarily have a right to choose the sex of their child. There are a whole host of ethical objections to screening for sex selection. There's concerns about stereotyping your children, about increasing discrimination against girls or boys. There's an invasive nature to the surgery required for women to undergo this process. There are a number of reasons why it's ethically complicated.
And I'm curious, Dr. Steinberg, when you speak with your patients, why do people gender select their babies? And I'm curious, do they select more boys or girls?
Actually, they select 50-50.
Really?
This has been published. Yep, it's 50-50, and it surprised us. We thought it would be biased one way or the other, but it's not. And the reason they select is to balance their families. In other words, when they're coming in with 4 girls, they're choosing a boy, and when they're coming in with 5 boys, they're choosing a girl.
And how successful is the procedure?
The procedure thus far in our hands with 3,000 cases has been 100% successful.
Wow. Anita, do you see on the heels of that, if you're coming in with 4 girls, you're looking for a boy or vice versa, do you see a reason to allow a couple to select the gender of their child?
Well, you really have to ask, why do people think their families need to be balanced in that way? So many girls, so many boys. I think it harkens back to a time when in families, children had very specific roles. Girls for caretaking and house care, boys for inheriting the property, making important decisions. Now that that's not the reality anymore, why should we care if our children are beloved girls or beloved boys?
And we always hear the statement that just as long as they're healthy. I mean, I think so many people say that. So Dr. Steinberg, I'm curious about the timing of this. I mean, you talk about 4 boys, parents, and wanting a girl or vice versa, but what if it's a first child? Do you have a lot of parents that come in there and say, we really want to have a girl, we don't have any children? Don't you think nature ought to be able to play itself out that way?
Well, nature does play itself out 99 times out of 100. As a matter of fact, 999 times out of 1,000. Once in a while, someone comes in and wants a first child of a given gender. They don't really need to justify to us why that choice was made, and the service is provided. You know, this goes back way, way before any modern science. We have pictures on cave walls of hieroglyphics telling people how they can best have a boy or a girl.
Anita, are you concerned at all this is a slippery slope?
I am concerned about the slippery slope. We've seen in some countries already, like China and India, there are imbalances in the total population. When private families make personal decisions, they're also making a kind of an ecological decision for the planet. There's more involved here than just what makes individual couples happy and what makes individual families seem in some idealized sense balanced.
And Dr. Steinberg, do you ever get a sense that people are going too far at all? Are you completely comfortable every time you're called upon to perform this procedure?
I wouldn't say we're completely comfortable every time, but I would say in the great, great majority of times we have absolutely no problem with it whatsoever.
Okay. Anita Allen.